Open Jaws at the Sunwing WestJet offices in Toronto. We came by to wish John Weatherill and the whole team happy 30th anniversary, 30 years of WestJet. But since I've got you, John, been a bit of upheaval in the industry over the last couple of weeks. And I just thought it would be great for you to talk directly to advisors about everything that's going on, what you're seeing, how you're seeing its effect in you, the airline, the tour operator. I mean, we lost Cuba, PVR, little bit on the ropes for a while, and now there happens to be a war out there, which is going to have a domino effect across aviation, fuel prices, you know, even though, of course, WestJet doesn't fly in that direction, it's going to affect you. How are you seeing it?
Yeah, I think you put it well. It's maybe a little bit of upheaval is even putting it mildly. There's a lot of upheaval, as there kind of always is in our industry. We've become, I think, more and more adaptable and resilient over time, as certainly as an airline at WestJet and as an industry, because we've had to deal with so much from COVID and ever since. But you mentioned it. I mean, Cuba, the Cuban market, which for us on the vacation, the tour operator side of our business. With Sunwing Vacations, WestJet Vacations, Cuba was about a third of our total tour operator business, and you know that's a big gap that we need to fill. We're redeploying some capacity to elsewhere in Mexico and the Caribbean, some capacity redeploying domestically in Canada as well. So we're reacting to that. As you mentioned, Mexico over the past week or so has become a significant challenge with the cartel violence that's occurred there, and it seems like although that's calmed down, we see the ongoing impact in bookings and cancellations as people are concerned about that destination. So we hope that stabilizes very quickly. And then, as you mentioned, there's actually a few different wars going on at the moment, and the most recent one with Iran will absolutely have implications across the industry, not least of which in terms of fuel prices, which we've already seen spike. And as we know, that's the largest expense for an airline, so we expect that's going to be a challenge.
So when you're sitting having your meetings in head office, I'm imagining everybody sort of putting up charts as to how this is going to affect the bottom line. As you said, fuel, the disruption in deliveries of aircraft, you know, all of these things are affecting aviation to a large degree. And how do you manage that?
Well, unfortunately, we're becoming accustomed to having to manage some of these big shocks. It was around this time last year, at the beginning of February, when the U.S. introduced tariffs against Canada, and a lot of Canadians reacted to that by choosing not to travel to the U.S. That was a significant. The U.S. for us is about 25% of our total business, and that dropped substantially about this time last year. We can't control that, so all we can do is react to it. And it's the same thing this year when it comes to Cuba or Mexico or fuel prices, etc. We can't control it. All we can do is react to it and redeploy as best we can. And yeah, certainly it's not in our plan, it's not in our budget, but we are becoming adaptable.
And fares are going to go up, obviously.
Well, I think that's probably a realistic expectation. I mean, when the input costs, which are always rising in the industry, as input costs go up, unfortunately, some of that has to get passed through in terms of fares. We hate to do that because, number one, we believe it's our job to make sure that we're providing as affordable airfares as possible for Canadians. In our country, air travel is an essential service, and we want to make sure that we have that as affordable as we possibly can. But unfortunately, fuel is a huge input cost, and so to some extent, that will likely result in higher prices.
I feel so badly for the advisors because they're the ones dealing with the fallout for all of this, and all we can do, I guess, is hope that the Iran war ends quickly, and so that we can sort of try and normalize a little bit. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Nina, and thank you to all of the advisors who are watching this. We very, very much appreciate all the support that you give to WestJet, to Sunwing, and we're working hard to be great partners to you. So thank you very much for all your help.